Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the West Coast Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Richard Frias Guzman. Just recording this on early Monday morning. It is Monday, December 5th, 2022. This is episode 116, I want to say, I believe. Just trying to go and get this podcast up. I know it's been a little bit of time since I've actually recorded one. I had a bit of a crazy weekend as well. Busy one just in preparation for our weekend. If you were out there, if you're in Los Angeles or maybe traveled to Los Angeles, you guys might have heard of a music festival that happened, Besame Mucho. I was in attendance, had a great time with friends and my wife, of course. Just had a great time. We ended up listening to all kinds of music. If you guys haven't heard of it, definitely just check it out. I am hoping that maybe they do another one next year. Might attend, might not. It was an all-day event, and your boy is tired. I had some amazing news over the weekend as well, just to kind of give you guys an update on everything as well. My family, my sister, my compadre Chris, they welcomed in a new addition to the family. My niece Addison Rose Carrillo. Welcome to the world. I can't wait to see you later on today. Can't wait to go and see you. Can't wait to go and meet you. Jenny, Chris, if you're listening to this, love you guys. Congratulations to my godson, Joshua. Congratulations, Papa. You're a big brother now. So definitely just wanted to go in and get all those announcements out. Jesse, Aubrey, if you guys are listening to this, I had some friends coming in from Tennessee, and unfortunately was not able to see them. I love you guys. Sorry I couldn't see you guys, but I hope I get to see you guys over in Tennessee, hopefully soon. But anyways, just to get right into the podcast, guys, and just to go ahead and stop talking about all my personal mess. I am going to be talking about the Raiders, and I am going to be talking about the Lakers in this podcast here today. We'll be doing a little bit of it'll be mainly stuck on the two games that they for Sunday. Not necessarily when it comes down to the whole week and everything that I missed. I'll kind of give an update on that. But overall, both teams are on a 3-game winning streak. I'll be talking about the victory for the Raiders first, and then finishing off with the Lakers as well. So just to go ahead and start off here with the Raiders. Well, actually, just before, sorry guys, I wanted to go ahead and just remind you guys that you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Twitter. It's going to be the same handle for both of those. It's West Coast Pod 702. Again, that's West Coast Pod 702. So definitely go ahead and check that out. Go ahead and drop me a follow, whatever. Go ahead and shoot me up a DM if you have any kind of questions or anything you want to talk about. I'd be happy to want to talk to you guys, or happy to bring up any kind of topics or anything like that you want to bring up to the podcast. So definitely I'll be looking out for those. Now, the first game that the first team we're going to talk about is the Raiders. As everybody knows, they played against the Chargers last night. Ended up coming up with that big time win, 27-20. It was a good game overall. Really, really hard fought game for the Raiders when it comes down to it. It was a big game coming up, because Chargers are they're in the hunt. They're fighting their way into hoping that they get some sort of playoff berth. Now the Raiders are actually one of the teams that can make that pretty difficult for them, and they have been lately. Anytime that the Chargers are giving them a window in order to go ahead and go through, the Raiders are going through that window. This was a big opportunity for them to be able to go ahead and move up and be able to even include their name in that conversation. But with that victory, with last night's victory, they ended up solidifying, or at least not solidifying that, but they at least are bringing their name into that conversation. So just to go ahead and get into some of the details about the game here, guys. It did start off a little bit rough. We all saw the fumble, the unfortunate fumble, and then as well the interception that was given up by Derek Carr that ended up leading to the 7-0 lead in the beginning. That didn't really last too long. We kind of recovered from it in the third quarter with Nate Hobbs ended up recovering a fumble. I'm really happy to go and see him back, by the way. You definitely kind of see that the team's a little bit different with him back. You get to see that the team plays a little bit more nastier. I believe even Josh McDaniels in his press conference even mentioned that they were trying a couple new things as well in this game. They had been, playing a little bit more man-to-man defense or coverage. So that kind of made it a little bit more difficult for some of these, or made it easier for the defensive ends in order to go and record a couple sacks, which we'll talk about a little bit here moving forward. So just go ahead and talk next. We're ended up coming up with a couple great plays. Great. It was a great. The recovery when it comes down to the fumble and everything. That kind of changed things around. Even it was a bit of a momentum swing, if you would, especially knowing how everything kind of started with those first two takeaways and everything for the Raiders. But again, great recovery for the team, and they ended up just kind of, it was what's the word? There's a term everybody kind of says, you have to have a short-term memory, when it comes down to stuff like that. If you have a bad play or something happens, forget about it, move forward, and hopefully you can just have success moving forward, or you don't have to go and create that same mistake over again. So speaking of which, though, having some great plays. That flea flicker that they had to Davante Adams, I believe, for his second touchdown, absolutely amazing. His first touchdown catch, oh my god. And then even the one that they even overturned, saying that it wasn't a catch, I think you just got to give it to that guy, because that thing was ridiculous. In his press conference with Derek Carr, he even talks about, he's like, that's the most ridiculous thing he's ever seen in his life. And I agree. It's just amazing to see, Davante and him doing the things that he's doing. I mean, the dude ended up having an absolutely incredible game alongside with Josh Jacobs, who, they even talked about it, that some of his yards were a little bit hard fought, but I mean, this dude still came down with 144 yards on 26 carries and still came up with a touchdown. Solid game, just kind of adding to his totals, adding to the great season that he's been having, along with Davante Adams. He ended up coming up, I want to say it was 8 catches. Let me see here. That was like 8 catches, over 170 yards as well. I mean, it's putting him well over 1,000 yards now. He's closing in on 80 catches. I think he's only one away from 80 catches on the season. Then I think he's tied for first or something like that, or tied for second on touchdowns with 10. So I mean, he's in line to have an incredible season. Something for the record books. And it's just going to be nice to go and see exactly what he kind of does for the rest of the season. Now, with bringing up Davante Adams, you have to go ahead and bring up Derek Carr in the type of game that he ended up having. He was 16 for 30, had 250 yards, had the 2 touchdowns, of course, to Davante Adams, and then, of course, the 1 interception early in the game. Overall, it was a great game from him and everything. You want to, of course, create, not have to worry about, giving up any kind of, takeaways or anything like that, especially when it's something like that where they come away with points at the end of it. But overall, I mean, when it comes down to the points, defense ended up playing a great game. They only gave up 1 offensive touchdown, because that other touchdown was from the interception. So you definitely had a great, definitely wanted to go or definitely saw some great things when it came down to that. Derek ended up just complimenting everybody, when it came down to it. If you hear his press conference, he just compliments everybody. He doesn't necessarily talk about himself or anything like that. When it comes on even to that interception, it's just him saying that it was his mistake and everything, so it's not like anybody passes on blame or anything like that, or anybody's, pointing a finger or anything like that, or nobody's calling out anybody. So you definitely like that. Speaking of call outs and speaking of protection and all that, you got to give it up, with Derek Carr. Ended up talking about he didn't get hit a single time in the ribs today or on Sunday's game. So you got to give it up to the O-line. O-line gave up no sacks on the day. Definitely a great stat to go ahead and have. Definitely a great day whenever your quarterback stays clean and doesn't have to worry about getting hit. Speaking of an O-line, you got to go ahead and talk about the defensive line as well. They had a great game when it came down to it. They also compliment as well the the defensive backs in the passing game on the defensive side. With that might be another thing when it comes down to having Nate Hobbs back. Rocky Sin still doing his thing. He's super consistent. That's one of the main things that you can definitely say about the guy. He's not going to be super flashy or anything like that. He's not going to come up with huge plays all the time or anything like that, but the dude gets the job done overall. Uh, Nate Hobbs, you get to see that the dude is just something special. I mean, I want to say it's his first game back. I don't think he played last week. And now seeing him back and everything, you get to go and see that the dude is a difference maker overall. So definitely happy to see him back when it comes down to it. The defensive line again just did an incredible job by making sure to, capitalize on having Nate Hobbs and having that those defensive backs that were holding up those receivers well enough in order to go ahead and apply some pressure on them. You definitely saw that Chandler Jones, of course, with his 3 sacks. You got to go and see that the front four, even especially in the middle with Tillery, I want to say, with Tillery and with Belian Nichols, those guys are really, really getting the job done. They're making sure that they didn't allow Herbert in order to go in and get any kind of big yards or anything like that. I believe he only got 7 yards in the entire game. So you definitely like to go and see that. When you can contain a guy like that can really change the game with his legs, that's definitely special. That's definitely really a big deal. But anyways, we'll go ahead and just kind of wrap it up when it comes down to the Raiders. When it comes down to that, the Raiders, as mentioned, are on a 3-game winning streak. They have a really short week this week. They got the Rams on Thursday. Then after that, they come back home to go up against the Patriots. So definitely big games coming up. Can't wait to go in and see what happens on Thursday. The Rams, from what it's kind of been seeming like, the Rams are maybe not the type of the Rams that won the Super Bowl and everything, but I mean, you still got some really big key players over there, and you never want to count out a team like that, especially a team that's won the Super Bowl, together. You definitely don't want to count out them. But we'll see exactly what happens. We'll talk more about that later on in the week. I am going to be recording for sure on Wednesday again, so that way we can kind of do a little bit of preview for that game, if that sounds good to you guys. Now, I am going to cut it there when it comes down to the Raiders. I do just want to take this time to go and remind everybody that you can find, if you have some time, definitely go ahead and check out this page, guys. I'm pretty sure I already told you guys about it. It's Rosie's Designs EST 2022. And if that name sounds familiar, yes, it is my wife. So definitely go ahead and check out the page, guys. Again, it's Rosie's Designs EST 2022. If you have any kind of questions or anything like that about it, definitely go and shoot her up a DM. But you'll kind of get the gist once you start looking at some of the pictures. She makes customized chip bags in order to go ahead and for any kind of occasion or anything like that. Just to kind of spice up a regular chip bag. Rather than just having regular Doritos or whatever, hot Cheetos or anything like that. If you're having a birthday or something like that, it'll say happy birthday, so, and whoever's birthday it is, they'll have some sort of a background or design if you want to, something, if you have anything specific or any sort of characters or anything like that, or colors or anything like that, you can definitely go ahead and send that over, and she'll be able to go ahead and, create something. Everything's created personal, everything's kind of custom, so it's never all the same. If you do have anything that you kind of seen online or anything like that, she can always try to do something like that, but everything that she does is personalized for every single one of them. But definitely go ahead and check it out again, guys. It is Rosie's Designs EST 2022. I guarantee you won't be disappointed, and you'll definitely have some fun trying to see what she can come up with. So with that being said, guys, I do want to just go ahead and wrap up the podcast here. I wanted to go ahead and just finish up with the Lakers. As I mentioned, I am going to be talking about their victory again as well from last night. They had a couple other great games as well. Prior to that, after that really disappointing loss to the Pacers after giving up that 17-point lead in the fourth quarter. I believe it was the biggest lead that has been given up in the fourth quarter this season. So definitely was excited to go ahead and see these next 3 games, or to hear that this is a 3-game winning streak for the Lakers. beating the Blazers, having that really, really great game. If you guys haven't seen it yet, I'm almost a little bit upset that I haven't recorded a podcast, or that I didn't record a podcast on that game. But again, had a really incredible weekend and everything, and just wasn't able to. But speaking of which, I just want if you haven't seen it though, definitely go and check it out. I rewatched it already and a couple times, and I gotta say, I think that has to be one of the games of the year. Maybe it's gonna be one of those NBA classics, if you would. So we'll definitely see. What happens. Hopefully, I gotta check the calendar to see if we have another game going up against the Bucks later on this season. Definitely gotta circle that one on my calendar. But anyways, after that, last night's game against the Wizards. It was good to go in and see Kuzma. It was good to see Kuz and everything. Missed the guy in a Laker jersey, to be honest. But good to go in and see him. He's doing his thing over there in Washington, and doing great things. But anyways, Lakers did end up winning 130-119. That was a really, really great game overall for the Lakers. You got to see that they had some really, really commanding points in the game. They were. I want to say at one point we're up by like 20 something points. They kind of had a good lead for a good majority of the time, by like 8 to 10 points, 12 points. They always kind of kept their distance, when it came down to the Wizards. It's only really early on in the game is when they had, sometimes where they were kind of going back and forth with the Wizards, if you would. But overall, just a great game from multiple players when it came down to it. But of course, you got to start it off with Anthony Davis. I feel like I'm bringing up his name on almost every single one of my podcasts right now that I've been doing. But the dude's just been on one of those kind of streaks, or one of those, I don't even know what to call it. He's just been doing his thing every single game here moving forward. And it's been a while now. It's been like a good solid 10 games, I want to say, that he's been playing exceptionally well. I want to say in the past 10 games, I want to say they even said it on the broadcast for Spectrum. I believe Billy Mack ended up saying that he's like 36 points, 16 rebounds, or 32 points, something like that, 16 rebounds. And that was before Sunday's game. So with those 55 points, 17 rebounds, 3 blocks, I'm pretty sure those numbers might go up, especially the points. 55 points, like, you kidding me? He was, I think, only a couple of points away from his career high. He was at his Lakers high for sure. 55 points. What can I say about the dude? The guy's just been playing absolutely ridiculous, man. He's playing like a man possessed, and I absolutely love it. You just keep on hoping that the guys stay healthy and everything, and it looks like he's been doing so. It looks like Anthony Davis is just looking great overall. So you got to go in and see what he continues to go and do this season. I hope he just kind of keeps it up. I mean, I'm not saying that the guy needs to drop 30, 40 points every single game or anything like that. But even if he's getting his 25, consistent, or 20 something around there, 10 rebounds at least for sure. The dude's going to continue to have an amazing season. And I mean, it's been thrown around a lot. I mean, these 10 games have been showing he's been playing like MVP caliber kind of stuff, He showed up Giannis in that game against the Bucks. He's, and he's having a lot of competitions whenever he goes up against another big man. Like even last night, him and Porzingis kept on going back and forth. It was like a dunk fest at one point. There was all kinds of alley-oops. There was all kinds of dunks from Gafford, from Porzingis, from Davis, from Lonnie Walker, from LeBron. It was absolutely crazy, But that was absolutely a great game, fun to watch. Great to go and see all the Laker presence that was in that game. Got to go and they even thrown it out a couple of times. Stu and Billy Mack were like saying, it's a crypto East or Lakers East. So definitely a great time, or definitely a great thing to go and see all that. The couple players that I wanted to kind of just mention, I mean, of course, besides AD, you definitely wanted to go and see, actually a little side note on AD, guys. If you guys haven't seen it, I'm pretty sure the Lakers probably posted it a few times, or maybe a couple other people, but if you haven't seen it, Anthony Davis, first player since Kobe Bryant back in 2013 to go ahead, or first Laker since Kobe since 2013 to go ahead and drop back-to-back 40 points games. So definitely great to go and see that. I don't know what else to say. I mean, you guys already know how much of a fan I am of Anthony Davis. But definitely just a great stats and great things going to hear about him all around. So let's go and just talk about Braun here for a quick second, guys. So Braun, he ended up finding ways to go ahead and contribute to the game in multiple different ways. You definitely like to go and see that. I mean, not just in the scoring, because I mean the dude still he dropped 29 points, 8 rebounds and 6 assists. I want to say it was 8 and 6. You definitely want to maybe assist a couple more, but he's not really. You get to see that he's handling the ball, but it's not so much anymore. You get to see that he has the chances to to cut, to dive towards the basket, and he gets those easy buckets. He's just a smart player overall. I mean, you have that kind of a player and that kind of caliber running plays like that. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous. How much easier do you really want to make it for the guy? But definitely great to go and see Braun still doing this thing, especially after coming back from that groin injury, even that little ankle turn that he had as well. You definitely like to go and see that. I mean, the dude looks healthy. You definitely hope that he just continues the same kind of thing with AD. We really know that this team is really just only going to go as far as like those two guys, and plus with Russ, as far as they take them. Speaking of Russ, you definitely like to go and see his efforts out there. He does, even the little things. He didn't have any kind of big points or big scores or big numbers when it comes down to points or anything like that. Dude ended up dropping 15 dimes though. 15 dimes. Just absolutely incredible. He finds ways to get his teammates involved, find ways to get them easy buckets, and what else can you ask from the guy, So definitely a great game when it comes down to that from Russ. Lonnie Walker, man. This dude, incredible. I think he was 4 from 4 for 3. I think he was shooting something like 60-70% from the field overall. Dude is an absolute monster. He has that really nice mid-range game, so he can create his own shot. You definitely like to go and see that from the guy. He's just a great player. That's super athleticism that he has, where he's able to freaking levitate up into the moon. But definitely would like to go and see the man in a dunk contest. Hopefully we can maybe make that happen or something like that. It would be nice to go and see him, another Laker in the dunk contest again. But we'll see what happens. Definitely just would be good to go and see that. But shout out to Lonnie. He had 20 points on the game. Definitely a great game overall. You get to see that even on the defensive side, he really just tries his butt off. And that's all it really is. It's all about effort when it comes down to the defensive side. Just don't let your guy get away from you. He comes up with some nice timely steals, as pretty much the whole team does. The whole team always has active hands. That maybe sometimes might cause chances for reach-in fouls and stuff and this and that, but if the effort's there and overall what the team is trying to do, you're gonna be happy with it. Overall, just a great game when it comes down to Lakers. I believe they got Cleveland coming up next. You definitely want to go and see them build off of this 3-game winning streak that they got. Hopefully they can make it 4 in a row. They are playing them tomorrow. They got the day off today. Then they have a back-to-back going against Cleveland tomorrow on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, going up to Toronto and playing them over there. So definitely going to be keeping a close eye on all those games. I'm probably going to do a little bit of a post-game for the Cavaliers, and then do a little pre-game for the Toronto Raptors, if that sounds good. I'll probably be doing something like that. Again, we'll see if we can make it 4 and then 5 in a row, hopefully after that. Definitely overall just hoping that the Lakers can continue to go ahead and just build off of everything that they got going on. Well, we'll see. But until next time, guys, like I mentioned, I'll talk to you guys on Wednesday. I'll hopefully be trying to stay active on Twitter and everything like that, just going to stay connected with all of you. But again, definitely drop a follow if you haven't. So again, it's West Coast Pod 702 for Twitter, Instagram. I'll be looking out for those. Again, hope you guys have a great Monday. Hope you guys have a great week. But until next time, guys, peace. Take care.